Welcome to Quick Reviews, and today we're going to be talking about Once Human. This is a game with, quite frankly, a lot of different genres, from being an interactive base builder to a game where you fight bosses and roll. It covers a lot of different niches. I won't lie, this game started out like a dumpster fire for me, but it did get slightly better. It doesn't really do anything new except for the deviations, and that isn't anything too incredibly new either. In fact, this game does exactly the opposite of what I was talking about with Stacklands. They do a lot of different things instead of just trying to be one thing. They definitely did this better than most, but a lot of aspects still fall short. It's like if you were to compare this game's combat to Nightingale's. Nightingale comes out on top every time, and that's not even the point of the game. But enough summaries, let's get into it. Is Once Human fun to play? Can it keep your attention? And is it really even worth your time to play? Don't worry, because I'll answer all these. And don't forget to like and subscribe to see more content in the future. Alright, so how's the gameplay? To put it simply, 80% of the game can be explained by just saying it's subpar. The combat feels bland and reused, with the only new aspect being the deviations. These are different creatures, with your base one being a butterfly, that follow you around and attack, but only have a short window before you have to recharge them. It's honestly an idea that I like, it just doesn't feel like this idea has a lot of emphasis on it. It's completely forgettable, and I played for a couple hours my first time before I even remembered it was a thing, and that was with it in my hotbar. It's your standard gun and melee gameplay, though. You shoot things, look for bullets, and if you're out of bullets, you hit the creatures with your melee weapon. You can use mods to change damage or make items stronger, but that's about it. And even then, at level 2, I was one-shotting basic creatures around the area I started in, and even found a level 3 boss and ended up killing it without really having to worry about health. This game just simply feels like a mix of a lot of other games, but Once Human just does everything slightly worse. However, it does have one kind of saving grace, and that's the building. It's not the most advanced thing, and sure, other games are obviously going to have better systems, but something about this game's building just sucked me in. There were a bunch of quality of life things that I never even thought that I'd love, like the fact that as you move furniture, it'll automatically face you unless you've rotated it yourself. While you do have to level up a little to truly unlock enough to build a whole base, it isn't too much. Even the resource gathering just feels perfectly balanced, for me at least. It feels like you're not really grinding for resources, but they're not all just handed to you, and you do have to go out and get them. I'm gonna be honest, I had such high hopes for the game, but I'm gonna have to give it a 5 out of 10 in this aspect, and even that's only because the building does end up making the game more fun. Okay, so gameplay's not the best, but what about how it gets your attention? That's about the worst thing this game does, I'm not even gonna lie. Within your first 10 minutes, you're hit with cutscene after cutscene. And listen, I love a good cutscene. Even the longer ones. The keyword there is good. The game missed out on that immediate hook. The one that captures your attention and makes you want to know what's going on. When the cutscenes did finally give up, I was greeted with dialogue that was honestly just boring to me, and I ended up not caring. And that's saying a lot because I am a lore person. I've always been this way. I've always wanted to know more about games. But all I know about this game, even now, is that I was special in some way, and I was supposed to kill these monsters roaming the map. I honestly couldn't even tell you how I was special, because I got to the point I stopped even trying to care. Mind you, this is just in the tutorial. This is supposed to be the grand entrance that makes you interested in this game. By this point, I was honestly questioning if I even wanted to actually try it. But I pushed through the main tutorial to get to the main game. Oh. Yeah, sorry, I lied. The game shoves you into another tutorial that you think is the main game. You have to build a makeshift camp and some weapons to fight something approaching you. Then, when it does show up, it's completely lackluster and the easiest fight ever. We're talking a giant the size of a building that can get completely obliterated by the starter machete. I'm not asking for some insanely hard boss off rip, obviously, but come on. It's the first boss of this game and the dude dies instantly. So yeah, what's it like after you beat this huge boss? You drop from the sky like you just jumped out of the battle bus. I'm not even joking, you get the glider and everything. This is when you actually get in the game. When you do end up landing, you choose your base spot, and you're pretty much free from there. There are main quests, but those got boring by like the third one in, so I focused more on the base building. I could go on and on about how uninterested I was in this game, but I feel like you get the point. Again, I hate to be like this, but I've got to give it a 3 here. It just failed so miserably at ever getting me any kind of excited to play, and it got to the point where I just didn't want to. So, last chance for One Human to redeem itself. Is it worth your time? I want to be nice, but I'm going to be honest. I really don't think it is. There's no reason for me to want to play. There's nothing about this game that sticks out. It's something I honestly would have played maybe 10 minutes of, then deleted if it wasn't for this video. It's just simply unentertaining in every aspect other than the building, and there's a lot of smaller things that just use up your time, and that's annoying. An example being that if you want to change your graphics, even if it's just a level, you want to go from very high to high, you're going to have to restart the entire game. It's something small, but there's a bunch of those, and they just get annoying. I do feel this game has potential to be good, if they put some real effort and love into it, but I just can't see that effort right now. This is one of the few free games that I wouldn't recommend downloading. I'm going to give it another 3 out of 10 for this one, simply because I just don't feel like it's worth going through the trouble to download it just to delete it when it gets boring 10 to 15 minutes later. So, how's the game overall? Well, I can imagine you know what I'm going to say here. It's a game that I wouldn't recommend, point blank. It doesn't really have anything it can be known for. It's the most average, below average game I've played. It isn't bad, it's just boring. If I want to shoot guns, I can play this game and I can have the mediocre experience that it gives. Or I can go play COD. If I want to fight giant creatures and have fun boss fights, I can just play Dark Souls or Elden Ring. And even with their new deviations, their feature, it gets outplayed by a game that everyone knows. If I wanted to catch and fight with animals, I could just play Pokemon or even Palworld. There's nothing that makes this game stand out from everything else. There's no reason that it shines. And that's what hurts it so much. Especially with so many other free-to-play games, I just can't recommend this one. Marvel Rivals came out. I haven't tried that yet, so I'm not going to recommend or unrecommend it, but there's so many other options. And this just isn't an option that I feel should be on the table. I can see, some people liking it, and it does have genuine potential. I can see that there are places that this can go, and it can be an amazing game, loved by many, but right now, it's just not it. There's so many other options for free games, and as sad as it is, this just isn't one that I can recommend. This just isn't one that I can say, yes, go and play this. And I wanted to love this game so much, but I just couldn't bring myself to. I couldn't bring myself to like this game the way that I wanted to. And if you want to try it, you're still free to try it, but it's just not worth the time to sit there and wait for the game to download and then play it and be like, yeah, this sucks, and then delete it. Maybe in a year or so I'll come check back on it, but until then I just don't see this game being worth any more of my time. It's just not it. Anyways, I hope y'all enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe. I plan on having a lot more videos like this come out in the future, along with gameplay videos as usual, of course. I hope to see you next time, and if you do manage to download and play the game, or if you already have, I would love to hear your thoughts on it and your opinions on my review. Remember that just because I don't like a game doesn't mean you won't, and just because I like a game doesn't mean you will. Everybody is subject to their own opinions, and if this is your favorite game ever, I'm honestly glad, and I encourage you to play it more. It's just not one that I would recommend the average person. I will see y'all next time. Thanks again for tuning in, and next time I will be reviewing Marvel Rivals. I'm actually going to go play this as soon as I'm done with this video, so be on the lookout for that. That should come out hopefully sometime next week. Not too positive about that. I'm also going to try to get a couple of gameplay videos out again because that's kind of lacking. Thank you all so much for watching to the end, and I hope to see you in the Marvel Rivals or the gameplay video, whichever comes first. Bye.